Huge milestone moment today. I'm about to close on this 32-unit apartment complex. Wanted to stop by real quick so you can see a little bit of it, show you everything that's going on with the property. We'll go into the numbers, we'll dive into everything. I'll tell you exactly how I purchased it, how I financed it, how I found the deal, everything that went into it in this video. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This channel exists to provide insight and momentum in your real estate journey from your first deal or your 50th deal. Make sure you hang tight till the very end, because at the very end, I'm gonna show you exactly how much cash flow I'm actually gonna net from this deal, how much tax benefits that I'm actually gonna be receiving from this transaction, and how much my net worth is gonna be increased, and then how I'm able to actually buy this deal and get all my money back and have an infinite return. So our purchase price for this asset was $1.5 million. If you want something in life, then you might be looking for a new Ford Explorer, tickets to a ball game. The more you tell people what you want, the more those things are actually gonna be brought to you, because people are like, oh, I heard Branton saying he was interested in that, or whoever. So essentially I was just putting feelers out there like, hey, anyone that has small to medium sized multifamily, please reach out to me. I'd love to facilitate a transaction. I'd love to put together a deal. I'd love to I'll get it done. And it definitely showed with the team, my team and I, how we were able to get this done from all these different variables and all these different circumstances. But essentially I had a friend that is in the multifamily space. It was an off-market 32-unit deal, and he came to me and says, hey Branton, are you interested in something like this? And I immediately left the office, drove right over to the asset itself, walked it, and just was like, wow, they put a lot of capital expenditures into the exterior, and it had good off-street parking, and it was a nice little area, and I just began to fall in love with the asset. But that's the first tip: don't fall in love with the asset. Make sure the numbers make sense. And so then we began to start the negotiation process, and essentially that's how we found the deal. I'm here at the title company about to close on my 32-unit apartment building, biggest purchase I've ever been a part of, but I'm gonna send a 6-figure wire today to put a down payment on this value add property. I'm gonna purchase it and eventually end up with none of my own money in the deal. Let's go. Thank you so much. What am I thinking about right now? I'm thinking about it's a big amount of money to be sending. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Essentially, increase the rents, do the improvements, refinance out, and get all my capital back, and then literally have an infinite return. It's just the execution part. That's the difficult part. Now it's like, okay, you find a deal, you structure the deal, you negotiate the deal, you go through all the little small things in the transaction on a multifamily purchase. It's a lot. Now it's execution, executing to raise those rents, get the leases, work with the tenants, renovate the units, get them occupied again with higher rents, and then take it to a bank, get the appraisal, and turn it around. And then 6:30. Okay, there's that. Oh my God, that's a lot of docs.
It is. Or get your fingers all stretched out.
So it's gonna be a very life-changing deal, and it's gonna teach me so much. So.
How stressful it actually is.
No, definitely. I mean,
that come up, I already know all the stuff that you're going through, and then having a random call out of nowhere, all of a sudden impact high stakes the next 2 weeks of your life. That's wild. To think about that.
Well, that's this high level thing. What's the high stake thing you're dealing with today? And there's always something.
There's always high stakes stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there literally is a super high stake situation, everything I'm doing, because I'm doing a lot of it myself. And however, I'm trying to have vetted project managers. So I don't have these high stakes situations.
Well, I got for you.
Really? Love to hear it. What a deal, huh? Oh my gosh. We were working hard the whole time. There were just crazy things we couldn't control in the situation. But well, thank you so much. You have a happy 4th of July.
Thank you.
Hey everyone. So I just left the biggest closing I've ever been a part of. Sends a 6-figure wire on an apartment building. Crazy story that we're gonna cover on all the things that happened in that deal to navigate to make it happen. So sometimes you just gotta celebrate and be thankful and bless up and be pumped that we actually closed. So now the work begins though. All right, the nitty gritty, the details, that's where the money is made. And right now I'm gonna break down some details for you on the numbers. What are the numbers, right? So originally I mentioned We purchased it for 1.5 million at essentially what some people know is what's called a cap rate. A cap rate is going to be the purchase price divided by the net operating income. And so we purchased it for about $46,875 a unit, which in that area is pretty, it's a little bit below average on the sales price. So that's pretty good. We had a little bit of margin of safety there. Right now we are looking at, it's a mix of 1-bedrooms and 2-bedroom units. Right now the 1-bedrooms are rented for about like $425 a unit, which is really low on the market rents. The 2-bedrooms are rented, it looks like, for about $625 a unit. And that's also very low. So there's immediate value add we can go in there and do to increase those rents, which is then when you take it to the bank and you show that we've increased the actual income of the asset itself, they will then value it essentially at a higher price. So the goal is on this asset is to obviously close on it, do some capital improvements. We've got like a couple $100,000 essentially in rehab funds from a bank to come and improve the property. And the bank understands that this is a bridge loan. So right, we lined up a short-term loan of like 12 to 18 months, and we're using that to purchase it, fix it up, and either sell it or keep it, which we're gonna keep it because long-term legacy wealth is the play. Not that you can't make a bunch of money sometimes in a sale, but this is really a long-term keep. Bought it for 1.5 million at $46,875 a unit. The goal, after we increase rents, do the renovations, as long as it appraises at about a 6.5 cap, which we have strong comps, once we get the rents stabilized, it should appraise at $2.3 million, which is incredible, but now it's time to execute. So we have to raise the rents, do those capital improvements, get new leases, and then once everything's been stabilized over a certain period of time, we'll take that new net operating income to a bank. They'll come and get the appraised value. We'll pay off our bridge loan, and then now we have a long-term asset. We're getting depreciation benefits. We're getting cash flow. Our net worths are going up, and that's how you're building long-term legacy wealth. So we closed the deal, but a lot of people don't know what it takes to get that deal over the finish line and how difficult it can be if you don't have the right team. We worked with a lender. This was one of their first bigger deals, not their first, but like they hadn't done a whole bunch of apartment buildings, essentially, like these larger loan amounts. And because of that, we had to like jump in and do a lot more in the deal, which is fine. It's just a part of the process of learning and knowing, where you need to be in order to get things done. But the crazy thing was we had this deal actually under contract twice. We had it under contract the first time, and the seller, he essentially, said, hey, listen, I'll give you guys 30 days to close. And we're like, and he gave us literally like, I think like a 10-day inspection period, which is unheard of, in like a 10-day due diligence period, which once again is unheard of. And so we had to be on our game with our inspections. We had to be on our game with our walkthroughs and being very detail oriented in that short amount of time, because a lot of times you're doing your typical, 30-day, right? You're doing 30-day due diligence or 30-day 30-day inspection period and all that kind of good stuff. But if you're gonna get a discount and you're gonna make sure you're taking educated decision making on these bigger deals, because you don't want to take risk, you just want to make sure you're making wise decisions and evaluating those things and running them past people that are very experienced in your fields. We felt comfortable that we were getting at a price and a margin of error that we could make up for anything we didn't find during that period. But essentially, we got this deal under contract one time in that first 30 days, and the seller just said, hey, listen, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to close. Here's your EMD back. Crazy story, way more detail that I'm that I'm missing right now. But essentially, long story short, he said, hey, listen guys, I appreciate your offer. I appreciate you doing this, but we had such good rapport. He gave us our earnest money back, which was $15,000 at the time. And we kind of waited till 30 days to just kind of step back and reflect. And the listing agent reached back out to us and said, hey, are you guys still interested? Well, let's put a verbiage in the contract that says, you know, that gives any lender you work with time to get the deal done instead of like a hard close date. And that really gave us the flexibility and the peace of mind we needed to make sure that we didn't have a fire underneath us that we were getting hold over the stake or something to close on a certain date, but we were allowing our lender that was, knew we were at this big deal to take their time to get it done. And so, some things you want to learn from that is make sure when you have hard earnest money down, make sure you have conviction you can get a deal done. Make sure that your contracts give you flexibility if the seller's okay with that flexibility. Because if the seller's going to give you a short time for you to do your due diligence and you to do your inspection period, well then you need to negotiate some other terms that are in favor for yourself, right? But yeah, I mean, there was back and forth. There's a lot of originally we were told you didn't have to have the survey, and then a week, 10 to 14 days before close, we find out you have to get a survey. Crazy stuff like that, which throws all sorts of, a stress and complications to every deal. And so we're able to get a quick survey out there. The lender ended up paying for it because it was their mistake, and we kept moving forward. And that's the thing, you have to, cool heads prevail. Stay cool, calm, and collected, and take one step at a time. Be following up relentlessly, and that's what me and my team did. They're incredible. They were following up relentlessly over email with title and surveyors and appraisers and the lender. It was incredible to see how us put it all together, and that's what it takes to get deals done that are off market and sophisticated at this level. So from my journey, starting in single family rentals back in 2015, 2016, when I was waking up at 4 a.m. at Waffle House to meet my mentor, and now 5 years later, closing on a 32 unit apartment building, and having a pretty majority stake in that asset is mind-boggling. And I think that a lot of people, and I know that some people say, you can underestimate what you can do in a year, but you can truly, really underestimate what you can do in like a decade. And it'll be so exciting to see over the next 5 years if I continue to keep my spiritual disciplines in the right place, continue to keep the people close to me in the right relationships and everything like that, where I can be. Personally, what this means for me is, it's time to execute on this deal to make sure we get that, end $2.3 million valuation on the deal to get all my money back. But, at the end of the day, for me, like anything in life, it's great, but it's hard to really experience. It's hard to, in the moment, I don't feel the excitement yet. I think I'll feel it more once the project's done, and because I have a lot of projects I'm currently doing. It's hard to process, oh wow, we purchased a 32 unit apartment building, but now it's time to execute on it. That's what I'm thinking of currently right now, but it's a big milestone. It's just hard for me to feel the gravity of it and the weight of it. Yeah, I mean, I've purchased a lot of different assets, but this is definitely the biggest one, and this is going to be definitely the most life-changing one for quite a while.